Okay, we're going to look at some functionality both on the practice side and patient app around the process of connection between a patient side account and a practice side account for that particular patient. That all begins in this create patient interaction. It's very important, as always, to be as detail oriented as possible when we're entering name, first and last, date of birth, email, phone. And also important on an adult to get as much of that information as possible, whether it's at the patient level or the guardian level. And then on a dependent, obviously first name, last name, date of birth. Anyways, the system is going to use those pieces of data to try to find matches between patient and practice side. So when we have a perfect match, it doesn't actually have to be fully perfect, but when we find enough of the same data between first, last, date of birth, email, and phone, the system's going to allow for the type of connections that we've looked at thus far in our demos of the application. So patient receives a connection invite, and the patient can accept that connection invite because the system has either found a perfect match between patient and practice side, or at least a well enough match that we feel confident that that's the same patient. So what happens if either there's no match or there's what we would determine a partial match? How does that functionality work? So I'm going to switch over to the patient application. And we're going to use these dependents down here. We see we've looked at already the direct connection requests on both the adult and this first dependent. These second two dependents have some other scenarios. So first scenario is we see the alert for a review a provider match. So what that means is the system has found a close enough match between patient and practice side that it's not going to allow this patient to immediately connect, but it does allow them to confirm, yes, I am needing to connect to Hometown General Dentistry. So I can confirm that I do want to invite that practice, select my privileging, and hit connect. So as we can see, they're not actually connected, but if I go back to the practice side, this practice is going to get an invitation, essentially a patient link request from the patient side that we just executed. And when the system brings this patient up, here's the patient that's requesting the link, and here's a potential match that the system has found on the practice side. So if I accept this invitation at this level, it's actually going to create a duplicate since these are indeed the same patient. So if I'm going to review this information, Blythe Rice, 3/25/2015, 3/24/2015. Okay, so looks like we made a typo. I can review the guardian info, Jason Rice, test plus 539, Jason Rice, test plus 539. So I feel pretty confident that this is the same patient. So in this case, what I'm going to do is accept and merge. System will ask for confirmation. Yes, I do want to link to that patient. And now we are linked to the patient. So we go back to the patient side. That alert changes and goes away, and if I click back into Blythe, I see that we're now connected, and I'm due to complete my authorizations with that practice. If we go back to the profile screen, we see a different alert on Billy Rice. Its system's essentially telling them that you're not connected to any providers yet. So if we click into this, it takes us to the provider screen. We see no linked practices. So in this case, what they can do, if they know who they're needing to link to, they can search for the practice or a specific provider and send an invite. So once that invite's sent, we go back to the practice application. Let's go to the dashboard. Let's get into our notifications, and again, we've been sent a notification that Billy Rice has requested to link to our practice. In this case, it's not a patient we had already entered on our side, so we see that there's no potential existing matches on our side. We can still review the information, and if we desire, we can accept that link request. And similar to the prior example, we're now linked to that patient's chart. So again, there's times where this patient has found us prior to us ever getting a referral, or found us via Google and goes to our website and finds the registration link to Simply Act, creates their patient site account, invites us to link prior to ever calling or touching base. So technically, we've received that patient's registration information prior to ever adding them to our system. So on that first phone call, there's a chance we've already got their entire registration set right off the bat. If we go back to Billy Rice, click into his profile. Similarly, he's now linked to Hometown General Dentistry, and he sees an alert that he needs to complete his authorizations to complete the registration process for our practice. So that is a kind of high-level overview of how the connection and linking process works, both from the situation where we find a very good, solid, direct match between practice and patient side, and also two scenarios where we either find a partial match that the system does not feel confident enough in to allow for this immediate direct connection, but still provides the patient with a streamlined approach to invite a practice to link. And then a second scenario where the patient can technically invite any provider that they want to link to their Simply Act patient account. Hopefully this makes sense. Definitely something that if we need to provide more guidance or information on, please let us know and reach out.